This morning, Ron DeSantis was asked for his response to the news of an impending Trump indictment in Manhattan, and this is what he had to say.
You're talking about this situation with, and look, I don't know what goes into paying hush money to a porn star to secure silence over some type of alleged affair. I can't speak to that. But what I can speak to is that if you have a prosecutor who is ignoring crimes happening every single day in his jurisdiction, and he chooses to go back many, many years ago to try to use something about porn star hush money payments, that's an example of pursuing a political agenda and weaponizing the office. And I think that that's fundamentally wrong. We are not involved in this, won't be involved in this. I have no interest in getting involved in some type of manufactured circus by some Soros DA, okay? He's trying to do a political spectacle. He's trying to virtue signal for his base. I've got real issues I got to deal with here in the state of Florida. We're obviously shutting down CBDC, which is important. We've got so many things pending in front of the legislature. I've got to spend my time on issues that actually matter to people. I can't spend my time worrying about things of that nature. So we're not going to be involved in it in any way. I'm fighting for Floridians, and I'm fighting back against Biden. That's what I do every single day.
So it's clear that DeSantis isn't looking to defend Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form. At the same time, it's also clear that he is perfectly content to use Trump's impending indictment to serve his own political interests of attacking Democrats. In other words, he won't defend Trump, but he'll kind of dance on Trump's grave in furtherance of his own political career. Well, turns out Trump world didn't take too kindly to DeSantis referring to their supreme leader's legal issues as a, quote, manufactured circus. Trump took to Truth Social and wrote, Ron DeSanctimonious will probably find out about false accusations and fake stories sometime in the future as he gets older, wiser, and better known when he's unfairly and illegally attacked by a woman, even classmates that are underage or possibly a man. I'm sure he will want to fight these misfits just like I do. And then he linked to a photo that purports to show Ron DeSantis partying with students while he was a high school teacher in 2001. And it wasn't just Trump. His son, Don Jr., wrote, so DeSantis thinks that Dems weaponizing the law to indict President Trump is a manufactured circus and isn't a real issue? Pure weakness. Now we know why he was silent all weekend. He's totally owned by Karl Rove, Paul Ryan, and his billionaire donors' 100% controlled opposition. And finally, I know you're probably wondering what the real intellectual powerhouses of the right had to say. So here's Steve Bannon and Mike Lindell.
Governor DeSantis, you're better than this. That was a weasel approach, and don't throw in the thing about the porn star. I don't need to hear it from you, okay? Don't need to hear it, okay? Mike Lindell, the Election Crime Bureau report, sir.
Well, first of all, DeSantis is the Trojan horse we thought he was. I just want to put that out there, how disgusting he is. Remember, everybody, he met with Dominion lawyers on figuring out a way to make it easier to sue people for defamation, like MyPillow and Mike Lindell. If they arrest our great President Donald Trump, hands down, he wins the 2024 election.
Tell you what, it's almost like there's a lesson in here somewhere about handing the keys to the kingdom over to a guy who demands total fealty from his acolytes, which I'm sure the GOP is going to reflect on long and hard. I'm sorry, I couldn't even finish that sentence. They will quite literally never learn. And so what's happening here is that Trump feels cornered. Obviously, he's likely to be indicted in a matter of days or hours. And so his thoughts here are this: if I'm going down, you're coming with me. The last thing that Donald Trump wants to do is allow his imminent indictment to clear the field for the heir apparent in the Republican Party, Ron DeSantis. And so he's going full scorched earth. And in a way, there's a certain poetry to this, because the Republican Party had seen all of this value in rallying behind a self-obsessed egomaniac as their leader way back in 2016, and then they predicated their entire party on him. They quite literally eliminated their own platform to better conform with his fleeting whims, and now, after having hitched their wagons to his, they're stuck dealing with a guy who will very clearly drag the entire ship underwater with him if he feels like he's losing his grip on power. You've seen the meme about joining the leopard-eating faces party. This is what it looks like when the leopard starts to eat your face. Now, I do want to draw your attention to just how much of a disaster the top Republican nominees for 2024 are. Because on one hand, you've got Donald Trump, who, at this rate, may very well be finishing his campaign from a prison cell in New York or Georgia. The guy is fresh off an election where his hand-selected America First candidates running for Secretary of State and Governor in every single swing state lost their elections. And he himself has overseen major election losses in every single cycle since 2018. Not exactly the strongest resume here. And on the flip side, you've got Ron DeSantis, whose biggest claim to fame thus far is simply that he's not Donald Trump. That's it. No one knows if the guy can do anything, but the fact that he's so popular on the right is just a testament to how weak and toxic Donald Trump is. In fact, of the little insight that we do have into how DeSantis would do when faced with conflict, this is just how ill-prepared that guy actually is.
And Ron, you talk about Joe Biden a lot. I understand. You think you're going to be running against him. I can see how you might get confused, but you're running for governor. You're running for governor, and I have a question for you. You're running for governor. Why don't you look in the eyes of the people of the state of Florida and say to them, if you're reelected, you will serve a full 4-year term as governor? Yes or no? Yes or no, Ron? Will you serve a full 4-year term if you're reelected governor of Florida? It's not a tough question. It's a fair question. He won't tell you.
Just full deer in headlights. And that was after just being asked if he'd serve out his full term. If he freezes up when faced with that softball, just imagine what it's going to look like when he's got to fend off attacks from Trump that say he's grooming kids. To say this guy is not ready for what's coming to him is the understatement of the century. All of which is to say that no matter how you slice it, the Republican presidential primary is already exactly as disastrous as you think. It's a bunch of big government extremists who conflate their desperation to punch down against vulnerable communities with strength. Between positioning themselves to the right of Kim Jong-un and also contending with impending indictments, I wouldn't exactly say that they've set themselves up for success. And yet, if I can guarantee you one thing, it's that it's only going to get worse. Trump will get more desperate and attack DeSantis more, and DeSantis simply breathing will be enough to cause Trump world to explode. The only thing left to be seen is if there's anything left of either one of them when they've finished destroying each other ahead of 2024. And I'll just finish with this. If you're a Republican or an independent or even a Democrat who's unsure of who you should be casting your ballot for in the next election, just remember that while Republicans are focused on indictments and wokeism and banning abortions and slashing Social Security and Medicare, Democrats right now got an infrastructure upgrade passed. Insulin is now 75 to 90% cheaper than it was last year. Healthcare costs are capped at $2,000 a year. We've got the biggest climate investment in history. American manufacturing is soaring right now thanks to the CHIPS Act and the Inflation Reduction Act. We got the first gun safety bill passed in 3 decades. Veterans have healthcare thanks to the PACT Act. We've added nearly 13 million jobs. The unemployment rate is near a 50-year low. So maybe, just maybe, it shouldn't be a matter of which lunatic is leading the Republican primary, but rather a matter of how much you get done when you put adults in charge thanks to the Democrats. Because if one thing is clear, when it comes to Trump or DeSantis, there are no adults in sight. Before you go, a quick announcement. I've started a Spanish YouTube channel. Democrats desperately need to be able to appeal to Spanish-speaking audiences, so this is me doing my part. To help that channel get going in the algorithm so that we can finally start spreading our progressive message and breaking the conservative stranglehold on Spanish-speaking media, please subscribe and watch a few videos. The link to that channel, called Brian Tyler Cohen Espanol, is right here on this screen. And of course, to see more of my content in English, make sure to subscribe to this channel as well. The link is also right here on this screen. Thanks so much for watching.